Is this my own comment that I'm responding to? Absolutely. But I haven't seen Wicked yet as of me taping this video, and I really want to do something Wicked related. So I'm going to try to divide up like as many characters as I can into the categories of Elphie versus Glinda. So the thing about Wicked is that I love Wicked. When I was younger and wanted to be a Broadway actress, Elphie was one of my dream roles. I wanted to not love Cynthia Erivo in this movie because there is some dark, sad part of me that's like, it should have been me. It should have been me. But it's not me. I am happy with how my life has turned out, and I am so happy for Cynthia and Ariana that they are fulfilling their dreams. Do it for the girlies who couldn't, girls. But the Elphaba Glinda or Galinda dichotomy here is, are you a person who is just completely steadfast and stubborn and will not compromise and just is different and is okay being different? Or are you a person who is willing to adapt to society, or like who is willing to work within the system even if that system is corrupt? And there's also like an element of, do you care about how you look and do you care about how you're perceived or not? And Elphie doesn't, except that she does. And Glinda absolutely does. With that out of the way, we can commence. This girl is an Elphie. Galadriel, the way that Rings of Power Galadriel does not give a single solitary fuck what people think about her. Like they put her on the boat to go back to Valinor, and she said, nope, absolutely not. And she was just like, I'm gonna be in the water, in the ocean. Like, the only thing that will save me is Halbrand on a raft. And like, totally fine with that. Absolutely willing to just say, fuck the system, fuck all of the norms. And she's just here to service her goals of revenge and maybe get herself her own little kingdom, her own domain one day. Sauron is a Glinda. This is a Glinda. Even Anatar's little like hair bow in the back of his head, it's so fucking Glinda coded. Like, this man cares about aesthetics. He cares about the way that he is perceived. He cares about the way that he presents. Like everything. He puts so much care into like his illusions, into his magic, into like all of these things that he misses that his magic is too perfect. There's also this element of Glinda where Glinda she tries so hard, but there's always somebody, in this case Elphie, who is better than her, and that is Sauron and Anatar and Halbrand. That is just their main sticking point, like in life. Like, Sauron is a Glinda. So I kind of waffled on Elrond a little bit, but I do think I'm going to fall on the side of Glinda here. This is a half-elf who is the son of half-elves who was raised by the pariah Fëanorians, who had committed atrocity upon atrocity, including how they got custody of Elrond in the first place. Like Elrond has all these reasons to be just this very, very different and be kind of like a social pariah and be okay with that. But he's honestly worked pretty hard to kind of slot in to Gil-galad's kingdom. And Rings of Power Elrond certainly is, he wants to work within the system, and he doesn't want to go too far off the beaten path when it comes to like using the rings and whatnot. So I feel like Elrond is more of a Glinda, but he's less of a Glinda than Sauron is by a long shot. I kind of want to make Gil-galad a Glinda, just because I feel like if there's anyone that he would sing "What Is This Feeling About," it would be Galadriel, who's so Elphie coded. So I feel like I want to do that because I see the picture of Gil-galad going like, I will be loathing you. That being said, though, I do think that Gil-galad is an Elphie, which is why I do think that on some level he does understand Galadriel and her struggles and all of that, because he has lived through a lot of his family's pain, and he is in the job of being High King of the Noldor, which is a job with a 100% mortality rate. So as much as he's working within the system, he's also willing to bend the rules in order to save his people. And at this point, saving his people is his top priority, and it doesn't matter if he needs to use the rings to do it. So I'm going to say that Gil-galad is as Elphie as Elrond is Glinda. Like, I feel like they're not as extreme, but he's an Elfie. I'm gonna call a Rondier for the Elfies as well. I just think that there's something very straightforward and very like, he has a lot of conviction. He has a lot of drive in like his own way, and he's also like the only elf so far who is not part of the House of Finway, and he is making his own way and he's doing what he needs to do. And also on a more meta level, I feel like he's an Elfie because this man has had to deal with some of the most vitriolic racism from the fandom, both in and outside of the show. So honestly, we're gonna call him an Elfie because this man is a revolutionary. God bless you, Puerto Rican king. And also, I feel like the scene where he cries over the tree is not only Tolkien coded, it's Elfie coded. I'm going to call Celebrimbor, I think, for the Glindas, because I feel like even though he and Galadriel were deceived by the same person, using sort of kind of similar tactics, they weren't really the same, you know? Like, the way that Sauron deceived both of these people is that he kind of cut to the heart of who Galadriel and Celebrimbor were, respectively. And at the heart of Galadriel is a revolutionary who wants to rule on her own. There's a lot of things that she wants to do independently on her own, and she is willing to break all sorts of barriers to do it. And that's Galadriel, that's our queen. But at the heart of Celebrimbor is someone who wants to be known as just as creative and just as intelligent and knowledgeable and powerful, like craftsman wise and creativity wise, as his grandfather, as his forebears. And that reads to me like a very Glinda goal. Like, he's not trying to do something different the way that Galadriel might be wanting to do something different as from other elven women, even the elven women in her family. Celebrimbor wants to continue the system in a way that Glinda also perpetuates the system. Maybe not in the same way, but I do think that Celebrimbor is more Glinda coded, which is why I think that he and Annatar connect on the level that they do. Anyway, I hope this made sense. I made this specifically like for my own amusement. If there is something, I've only done like 6 characters here. I'm sure there are other characters that I can touch upon, but these are kind of like our 6 mains for now. Either way, I had a lot of fun making this, and I hope that you had fun watching it.